Yes, this is Mr. Williams.
Terrell Washington.
Oh, excuse me, sorry, Terrell Washington, excuse me. And this is his first time here to the club. And I'm just gonna kind of introduce you. This is Lawrence here, Cody, and David, Heather, Ying, and Justin.
Yes.
And then, oh, I'm getting to you, and that's Mark. He's our virtual members. He travels a lot, so he a lot of times contacts us through the web. And of course, that's Maurice, our president. So right now, we're just going to review the agenda. The premiering is going to be Lawrence. The first speaker is going to be Heather. Why she goes to San Antonio. That's quite interesting. Our second speaker will be Lawrence, and we don't have a topic. We're just going to do the educational overview.
I'm going to create a competent communicator manual.
All right then. And we'll have our table topics master. That'll be David. General evaluator will be Cody. And Cody, are you also the first evaluator also? Okay. All right then. Second evaluator will be David. Timer will be Ying. And then the grammarian will also be in charge of the odd counter report, word of the day report, grammarian report, and then the general evaluator will come with the general evaluation of the meeting. Lawrence, did you want to do the word of the day?
Yes, I actually have a different meaning than what you did. The word that you pulled up, or whoever pulled up a snaffle bit, which was they used on a horse. I don't know how we would ever use that in a sentence. But a snaffle is to take something quickly for yourself in a way that prevents someone else from having or using it. Martha snaffled all the peanuts before the party had even begun. Snaffle. Okay, that's the word I was looking at when I put that on there. I wasn't thinking about horses. Sorry, guys. You know, you all love horses, but something like that. To take something quickly for yourself in a way that prevents someone else from having it or using it. So I won't snaffle any more of your time. Yes, the grammarian is the person who is trying to keep track of grammar. I'm not really good at that, but I do also like part of that job is to keep track of everyone who uses the word of the day, which happens to be snaffle, and also to watch for filler words and double words where somebody says something. They say it twice because so at Toastmasters we try to use our brain before we use our mouth. So then if you do that, then you're less likely to start a sentence and forget what you were saying and then have to start the sentence over again, which is the most common double word, where you just start a sentence. Also, we look for filler words like ums and ahs and those kind of things, and try to remove them a little bit, which is something that I seem to still be struggling with after all these long, wonderful years at Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for introducing the role. Our first speaker will be Heather. Why don't you go to San Antonio?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I love San Antonio, and I think that anybody that would go visit San Antonio would love it too. I think that after this speech, all of you want to go to San Antonio. So let's start with my first reason that you should go to San Antonio, which is the river walk. If you've ever seen pictures online, there's this really, really beautiful river walk that's kind of in the city, and it's really detailed, and there are shops and restaurants and cafes all around it, and it's just so beautiful. I really, as somebody that has a deep appreciation for architecture and kind of old southern charm, you can't really get enough of that if you're walking down the riverwalk. Also, if you like to take walks, just to take walks and soak up the sun, then you'll probably love going on the riverwalk. Additionally, there's tons of different landscaping and curves and everything, and it's just a really different thing. It's not something you really see in other cities except for maybe, I guess, out of the country like Venice or something. So it's not something you can really experience in a lot of places. Moving on, another good reason to visit San Antonio would be the food. If you've ever gone to a Mexican restaurant, sometimes it's pretty good, right? But it's probably not necessarily authentic a lot of the time. Whereas in San Antonio, they're really close to Mexico. So a lot of the people there are actually Spanish speaking, and a lot of the food is authentic. I remember when I went to San Antonio, I went to this place, and I got a really big burrito, and it was really good. So you would probably like it. Also, thirdly, there's a lot of culture, a lot of different things, like a lot of diversity in San Antonio that you might not experience if you go to different parts of the country. You might like it in some place like New York, where I guess there are a lot of kind of subgroups, whatever, like maybe there's a lot of, like there's Chinatown, stuff like that. But in San Antonio, there's like I said, a lot of Spanish-speaking people. So if you're trying to learn Spanish, it'd be a great place to go there and kind of test your skills. And also they do things like, they have this parade, and most girls, like if you look around, they'll be wearing a flower crown, and it's kind of cool. I don't know, it's, like I said, it's a different experience to just go someplace like that, and that's still in the country, and just kind of see something that's different. It can be pretty neat, because it happened, like, I went there about 4 years ago, and I guess I didn't really expect that around our country there would be a lot of different places, but it's not a lot like what you would think is typical American culture. So it's nice to go there and kind of experience different things, like I said. And besides cultural things, there are other attractions too, like visiting the Alamo, which I also did, and there's also this water park called Schlitterbahn. It's pretty good. I went there. It's kind of big. Yeah. So San Antonio is a really, really great place, and it's beautiful. And I think that all of you should go before you die, and you should snaffle to get there before time runs up. You know, it's one of those things, right? That everybody should try and experience new things. That is why you should go to San Antonio.
Thank you so much, Heather, for your speech. I like to travel, have been to too many places recently, but I'll put this in my travel log for San Antonio. All right, our next speaker will be Lawrence. He is the Vice President of Education. So welcome, Lawrence. He's going to do a speech regarding educational grant. You have a name of the speech? Just a confident communication, that's it.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I'm a guest. This evening, I want to give a short talk about the competent communicator. for those of you who are new, you may not know, but the competent communicator is the first workbook that we have in Toastmasters. There are many workbooks, but this is the first one that we use. And this is a primer on how to give a successful speech. Now, the competent communicator has 10 speeches that you can give in the competent communicator program. The first one is the easiest. That's the icebreaker. You basically tell everyone about yourself. Gee, how many of us spend time doing that every day? I think a lot. But you get the opportunity to stand up in front of a small group and express yourself and give a little bit of a story about yourself. And then you get a little bit of feedback on that speech. So that helps you to create a little bit better understanding of how you're presenting things, and they'll give you good points and some bad points, and then hopefully some more good points. Now the second one is when you really start getting into the meat of how to do public speaking, presenting in a work environment, presenting at your local social club like Rotary or anything like that. And that is your organize the speech. Now, it's very simple to think, well, that's okay, you just, have an opening, you have speech, you have an end. Well, that's the basics. But now, you're supposed to, the step is that you use the information you learned from your first speech to add to the second speech. Now, one of the problems that, according to the Toastmasters magazine, which had a very good article on this, by the way, if you didn't read it this month, according to the Toastmasters magazine, one of the things that is very common in Toastmasters is for people to get to the organizer speech, and then they kind of do an organizer speech for the next one, and organizer speech for the next one, and organizer speech, and they kind of miss out on the potential that is there in all these speeches. So when you get to the third speech, which is get to the point, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take all the information you learned in your icebreaker, and then you figure out how to organize your speech, but at the same time, you figure out how to say what you want to say in a manner that can be easily absorbed by your audience. Now, this brings us to Project 4, how to say it. Well, you could just say, oh, I think it would be wonderful to go to San Antonio, and, that's saying one thing. But when you get up there and you say, oh, I really love going to San Antonio. It's such a wonderful place. And then you start going into the whole story about it, well, then that gives a whole different energy to the speech than just saying, well, I think everybody should go to San Antonio because it's a wonderful place. It's got a whole different feel. So how to say it builds on your organized speech. You've already figured out how to get to the point. Now, how can you say it? And then the fifth project is your body speaks. Now, it's very easy for people to stand up here, or more likely, stand up here and give their speech in such a way that everybody is really like your enemy and you don't really want, or you can use a little bit of body language. Now, on the other hand, you may find people that are giving you body language that really try to put the point across in such a way that it's like totally distracting. So you want to be able to use enough body language to emphasize the important things that you are saying and get to the point, emphasize the points that you are making. And that's the half of your project. At that point, you have an opportunity to evaluate what you feel your progress is. And then you get into vocal variety. Vocal variety is not being monotonous. You don't want to be up here talking and just giving everybody a speech and just never have a change of tone and just be like a robot. So you want to give people some excitement. Try to present that excitement with your voice. And that's what vocal variety is. But of course, with the vocal variety, you can also use your body language to get to the point in just the way you want, how you want to say it in your organized speech. Then, research your topic. Now, let's get a topic that's not really something that I might not normally do or that I am excited about, but I really don't know that much. And then you dig in and you're able to give that speech. Another one is to get comfortable with visual aids. If you have to give a presentation at work, you might have a whiteboard. You might have to create a PowerPoint presentation or any of those type of things. So that helps to develop that. And then, one of the most important things people say about closing a speech is that you present a plan or an action. And so, what are you trying to do in your speech? You're trying to persuade people. So, how can you persuade with power? Well, that's speech number 9. And then, once you have persuaded them that what you want them to be persuaded, finally, you're going to give them the inspiration to get up and do the things that you have presented in your speech that you organized, and you were able to bring that point forward and say it properly using good body language and vocal variety. They have all the information because you researched your topic, you gave them good visual aids, you were comfortable with persuading them that what you were saying is correct, and finally you inspired them to use the conflict communicator to become the best speaker that you can be. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for that speech. Next, we're going to have our table topics master, and that will be David.
Hello, Toastmasters. Today's table topic, we're going to talk about us. We talk about the #1 speech and the confident communicator being about yourself. Well, today's table topics is going to be about us. Like Lauren said, we all love to talk about each other. So, that said, Maurice.
Yes.
I don't call volunteers, I call people. What is your happiest memory?
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, the question has been presented to me, what is my favorite memory? Since table topics is an impromptu speech, and I don't really have that much time before the table topics to give my favorite memory, I will snaffle up one, hopefully the next few seconds. one of my favorite memories is high school graduation. At that point, I went through all 12 or 13 years of school, including kindergarten, anticipating getting that diploma, walking up to the stage, which was one of my nervous points, just getting up there in front of a whole crowd of people and getting that diploma, and then once I got the diploma, get off of the platform and just enjoy the fruits of my labor. So, one of my favorite memories is obtaining my high school diploma. Top of that.
I remember when I graduated high school. Oh wait, I don't remember that much about it in the Trump Fest afterwards. Cody, what was your saddest memory?
So I've been asked to discuss a low point in my life, a sad memory. Well, for myself, I typically do not dwell too much on the past, so it's going to be a little tough for me to dig deep and think about something sad. Well, we'll go to a time that wasn't pleasant. I contracted spinal meningitis at one point in my life, and I was out for 2 weeks, laying in bed, really bad fever, extreme bad headache, felt like my brain was melting. So this was not the most pleasant thing, but I had my family there, and friends who came and saw me, took care of me, and got me out of sickness and kind of being, I guess, depressed and thinking that I might die, I guess. So that was the saddest memory that I've had in my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Whew. I actually thought he was going to say it was Dave and me. Justin, what would you like to change about yourself?
Fellow Toastmasters, I've been asked what would I like to change about myself. I think maybe some of the other people in this room can relate. I'm a bit of an introvert. I am an introvert, not a bit of one. I'm definitely an introvert. And there are aspects of that are positive and I like about myself. But when it comes to meeting new people and forming those initial relationships, I wish I had some more of those extroverted skills. And I think those are good skills to have. And I think that there's a lot of stereotypes that go against introverts and some of their behaviors and some of the personality aspects they have. But there's a lot of positive things that go along with introverts too, and how they think, how they work, and how they process things. So not to say that introvert bad, extrovert good, but being an extrovert and getting out and meeting people and forming relationships is something that I'd like to improve on and work on in some kind of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. That's exactly why we're all here. I think every one of us would like to be able to be more extroverted and be able to go out and talk to people. I know at networking events, for me especially, I'm one of those that'll stand in the corner and just kind of, I hope nobody comes and talks to me. We're supposed to be out there introducing ourselves, handing out our business cards, and doing those things. Mark, you playing? No, there he is. What's the best part about being you?
the best part about being me is I get to travel almost every week. And I'm the highest level frequent flyer in Delta. I've been the highest level flyer with US Air, now American. I'm a lifetime level diamond with Hilton, a lifetime level gold with Sheraton, and a lifetime gold with Marriott. So it's good to be me. I get to skip most of the line, and I don't have to worry about getting hauled off the plane if it's oversold. But I have actually been bumped off of flights, so I do have to worry about that. The worst time was when, even though I'm the highest level with US Air, the day before Thanksgiving, they bumped me off the flight and put somebody else in my empty seat. So I got to watch the plane push back with me not on it. So, but I don't have to worry about being hauled off the plane ever. So that's what's good about being me.
Thank you, Mark. When I was in aviation before I retired back in May of last year, I was a traveler. I traveled to Hattiesburg, so I didn't have to fly. I traveled to Pensacola, so I didn't have to fly. I traveled to Greenville, Alabama, so I didn't have to fly. Thank God, because I can't stand commercial flying anymore. But now, US Air, or Delta rather, or United, get bumped. That's 10 grand, baby. I don't know if you guys saw that or not on the news.
Yeah.
Mr. Tourette, would it be okay if I called on you tonight? Would you like to do a little table topic and give us a couple of minutes of what you might think? You can say no if you don't want to, but you're all I got left. What motivates you to be your best? Thank you so much.
How you doing this afternoon?
Thank you.
What motivates me to be my best would be the things that my mother, grandmother installed in me. And the main thing that they installed was to help other people and encourage other people. And in doing so, your reward will come to be what I'm trying to do. I love the way you was talking and certain things that you, I guess that's why I'm here, because I'm going to eventually eliminate all of that. But those two ladies were affecting my life and making me the person who I am today. And I'm a giver more or less than a taker. So therefore, they have motivated me to be the best I can be in life. So.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time today and discussing about ourselves and our good memories and our bad memories and what makes us the best and what makes us strive further. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, David, for table topics. I enjoyed the general evaluator, and that would be Cody. It's all right.
All right, now it's time for the general evaluation of our meeting. So we had a 5-minute recess. We had to get the roles situated, but we were able to find everyone to fill a role, which is good. Went over the news. We have the high school event, so just a reminder of that if we have any judges. potential judges. And welcome Terrell, thank you for joining us and doing table topics. It's difficult for your first time to get up there and do it, so that's awesome. You took the plunge. We had 2 speeches tonight. We'll get into that later. Heather's speech number 6, why you should go to San Antonio, and Lawrence, nice overview of the competent communicator. So tonight, for our first evaluation, I will be evaluating Heather's speech. So Heather did her speech on why you should go to San Antonio. Speech number 6, the subject was vocal variety out of the competent communicator. So for this review, they have a list of things that I'm going to go over and rate her speech based on these topics. So the first one was topic selection. I thought it was good. You picked something that you were passionate about, I guess recently experienced, so you could talk about that to try to get the audience excited about possibly going to San Antonio, so it's a good choice. Volume, you had a good volume for the room size. Everyone could hear you well, so it was good. The rate, you had a nice flow, consistent flow rate, easy to kind of follow, weren't very choppy, or didn't make me nervous that you might have forgotten some of the speech or anything like that, so it was good. The pitch, I would say it's one of the things you could have maybe varied a little more. So you did at the end, so I kind of read this in the middle, but you did, you kind of added a little bit of loudness, and I heard a hiss or a lectern hit. So quality, it was an interesting speech, and I learned, I've never been to San Antonio, so it sounds like a nice place to visit. Pauses, you had a few quality pauses. You didn't try to fill in ums and ahs. Let the pauses happen. Expressiveness, maybe a little more expressiveness to show like the passionate parts, like we were really trying to explain something that excited you. Organization, well organized, intro, body, and conclusion, nice facts in the body. Good word usage, it was descriptive to help us visualize what you're talking about. And you had some body language, not too overly distracting, so it was nice use of body language. Like I mentioned, the thing that you could have done better to make it more effective is just more vocal variation. Just change your pitch up a couple times, maybe through the speech to kind of grab the attention of the audience. And what I liked about it, I really enjoyed the flow of the speech. You did a nice job not relying on your notes. And it was an interesting speech, something you're passionate about, which was a good topic selection. So thank you for that, Heather. Good job. All right, back to the general evaluator. Now we will have our second speech evaluation, and that will be Lawrence's speech evaluated by Mark.
Lawrence's speech was on competent communication out of the Competent Communicator Manual. It was an impromptu speech, which is shocking because it was darn near a perfect speech. The length was incredible. You flowed all the way through it. Your introduction was strong and concise, and we knew exactly what you were talking about. You segued from each topic fluently, from going through talking about yourself to organizing all the way through to the end. I thought it was done really, really well. Your topic 5 was spot on. In case those of you didn't catch on, that was his body language. And kept your attention with your gestures and your voice tones all the way through. It was, and it wasn't as if, because you were doing it purposefully. For each section of the chapters, you were demonstrating each one going through the whole book. And I thought that was done very, very well, especially for something that wasn't practiced. At least we assume it wasn't practiced. The way you intermixed each chapter, it showed how you tied the speeches and I thought it was done impeccably. And then your closing flowed perfectly from the body of your speech. I wish there was something I could critique you on. You did say once, so we'll critique you on that. But other than that, I thought it was one of the best speeches I've heard, especially for something that wasn't practiced. Very well done.
Thank you, David, for that evaluation of Warren's speech, and I agree it was a very good speech, especially for kind of on the cuff, so job Warren's. Now we're done with our speech evaluations, and we're going to go into the timer report by you, Amy.
Sorry, I forgot. There's a speech. The second, the Lawrence is 8 minutes 90 seconds. The table topic, Maurice is 1 minute 37 seconds. Cody is 59 seconds. Justin is 1 minute 7 seconds. And the Margaret is 1 minute 50 seconds. Our guest is 41 seconds. Oh, no, evaluator, sorry. The first evaluator is
Cody.
Cody is 2 minutes 30 seconds. And the second evaluator is Derek. It's 1 minute 50. Okay.
Now we will have our grammarian report by Warren.
Okay, the grammarian's report. We had 3 uses of the word of the day. Heather used it once, I used it once, and Maurice used it once. Now, Heather, I noticed 2 ahs or ums or such like that. Not too bad, that's pretty good. But there were a few things that you did do that I thought could be improved on. You did use double words twice, but you used like a million times, okay? And also kinda. Everything was, well, it's kind of nice to, kinda nice to do this, and it was kind of nice to do that, and it's kind of nice the place you would want to be. So those 2 words you used quite a bit, but I really don't think they detracted from what you were saying so much. It's one of those things that as a grammarian I have to pick up, but I think you did a good job. I, on the other hand, apparently had 4 ahs and ums and a bunch of you knows. Also, I did use 3 different double letters, plus another ah just now on top of that. I didn't catch much of anything from anyone else. Cody, when in your evaluation, you did have a couple of ums and ahs. And you had 2? Did I miss your 2? I must have missed your 2. Oh well, sorry. But you caught them. That's even better. Okay, Justin, you had a couple of ums and ahs, and I've continued to have them. And you also started a sentence, stopped, and then started a different sentence in the same thing because for whatever reason. Now, Terrell, you, as you mentioned, you did have a couple of ums and ahs, and I don't count them that much when, especially when someone is new. I just mentioned that there were a few there, and that is the grammarian's report for this evening.
Thank you, Warren. So with the conclusion of the grammarian report, that is all for the evaluation. I will now relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster team.
Thank you so much for everyone coming. Do we have any awards?
No, not tonight.
Any other business? You can dismiss?
No, relinquish.
Oh, okay.
Back to President.
All right then, relinquish the turn back to our president, Maurice.
At this time, do we have an agenda for next week?
We do, as soon as that comes up.
I did notice that Luke requested a speech for next week.
Yes, Luke will be our speaker for next week. And we also have other positions for next week. Again, it would be most beneficial if you would take the time to request certain things, and then it would make it easier for me, because right now, I'm kind of just, I'm sorry, I just lost my spot. But I would like to, that would be easier for me if you request what you want to do, and then I would be able to come in and give it to you. I can make sure that you have that information available.
I need to do speech 5,
Okay,
body language speech.
okay, you want to do your speech number 5, you want to do that next week?
Yes.
Okay, so next week we're going to have Luke as the first speaker. We'll have Tammy as our second speaker. Justin, if you could be the general evaluator.
Sure.
Heather, could you be the second evaluator? Okay.
Can I do Toastmaster?
Huh?
Can I do Toastmaster?
Yes, I'll let you be the
That'd
Toastmaster.
be my first.
Okay, yes. I'll put you in as Toastmaster. And,
Can you table topics?
okay, and and Cody will do table topics. All right? Okay, any other ideas on, then that's going to be our schedule for next meeting.
Okay. It is 7:39, and if there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
I wasn't even thinking about the local variety thing with the band. I was trying to wake up Eugene.
Yes,
who was sleeping.
I do have-
And my whole
Oh, okay.
speech, I was just watching her with this.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
So what do you do, Carol?
You know what day of the week it is?
Ah,
I enlistment enforcement officer with the Mobile Police Department,
okay,
with the Fort Jackson.
I'll sign off,
the
Maurice.
drug
Talk to you next week.
Okay, see you. I'm Mark.
I've been lieutenant with the Mobile County Sheriff's Flotilla. Been with them for about 26 years.
oh, it's Flotilla? Okay.